Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and well, today we're just going to quickly be doing a redesign video. The Jurassic World Survival video, I did a video talking about the Jurassic World Survival figures, and frankly I kind of hate them all. And I'm kind of just disappointed in this entire toy line in general. We still don't have the Wild Roars, so hopefully those should be good. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but right now we're going to just talk about redesigning these and just how I would change the toy line. Because frankly, this toy line sucks so far, but yeah, anyway, let's jump into this. First, we have Monolophosaurus. Again, the figure itself isn't horrible. I mean, I guess if we're just talking about actually fixing this figure, I guess it would just give it a little bit more paint, extend the yellow and give it more stripes, I guess. Maybe give it some blue stripes on its face, I guess. Honestly, again, there's nothing this figure in general is inoffensive, especially compared to some of the others. Just it's the fact we've gotten a billion Monolophosaurus this year, so it's why another one? Of all the species you could have chosen to re-release, why this one? So yeah, what I would change it out is for something else. Literally just change it for a new species, something that we haven't gotten. My two picks are either Alioramus. I think a blue Alioramus could have been really cool to get, since we already have two red ones. And then we could have gotten Gorgosaurus, another species. Alioramus would be more likely, considering they wouldn't have to retool it in any way, since it's already a danger pack figure. But yeah, the Gorgosaurus, they would just have to cover up the battle damage. I think that would have been enough to reasonably kind of put it in this line. I did change the design a little bit. I gave it some quills on its back because for some reason I have to exaggerate everything in this lineup. But I think the quills actually kind of look nice on this figure. Again, just changing out for Gorgosaurus, or again, Alioramus, I want to mention really heavily because I didn't make a slide for it, is also another creature I kind of actually wish I would have put that instead. Because Alioramus, I just think he's one that needs a re-release, and it only has gotten 2 re-releases if you're not including the color change figure. That doesn't really count. But yeah, of the actual danger pack figures, it's only gotten 2 releases, so I think another Alioramus could have been nice instead of releasing a creature we've gotten a billion of. Honestly, Mattel just really needs to re-release some of their theropods they haven't released that many times instead of re-releasing the same one. They basically just released Velociraptors and Monolophosaurus. So yeah. Honestly, switch things up every now and then. I know a lot of people really want to see Deinonychus in the toy line, and the only reason I don't hate that idea is just because they could switch it up with Velociraptor every now and then. So yeah, again, Monolophosaurus, same thing. They have Kaleskus, which could be a good good creature swapping every now. Plesiosaurus, I kind of don't want to see. I don't really like the sculpt, but hey, honestly, I take it to get that every now and then instead of Monolophosaurus. But yeah. Next, we have the Dimetrodon. This is one that is just perfectly fine in my opinion, though at the same time, one thing kind of bothers me about it. The sail. You could paint it, but I decided to get rid of, well, not the sail, the neck fin is technically what I guess would be considered. You could keep it the same, but yeah, frankly, I decided to just completely get rid of it. I think that just looks a little bit better. And also, I did change the sail up ever so slightly on the redesigned version, just to, I don't know, just make it a little bit more smooth instead of having it abruptly stop. And yeah, that's pretty much how I changed this figure. Otherwise, yeah, not too much. I honestly don't absolutely hate this figure. I might skip out on it because again, it's not horrible, but again, I would kind of want it to look a little bit different. It's enough that honestly I could modify it to make it better, but frankly, I kind of just don't want to, and I would just prefer to keep the Dimetrodon I have instead. So yeah, again, don't think Dimetrodon's horrible, but also don't think it's fantastic. Feel like another creature that could have been cool to have in here instead is Edaphosaurus. They wanted to go with exaggerated, Edaphosaurus literally has spikes sticking out of the side of its sail. It could have been cool to see a figure of that, though that might be expensive to make. Don't care though. Would have been really cool to see a Edaphosaurus with a fixed head and stuff. Don't know why they didn't do that instead, but yeah. Next we have this Plesiosaurus. I hate this thing. Anyways, my redesign for it is just changing things up. Again, I don't hate the general idea of this figure. I think it's actually kind of nice. I just moved the stupid spins onto the top of it instead of literally on the side of it. And then also made the flippers smaller, just because they're really big and wide and it's ridiculous. I also really like naming it the Cryptocleidos instead, because I think it would be cool to have a Cryptocleidos figure instead of just having another Plesiosaurus. So yeah, that's literally all I changed about this figure. I don't even hate the more exaggerated idea of doing a Plesiosaurus. I just wish it was done a little bit differently. Heck, the Cobra neck, despite me hating it, I think that's not even the worst issue with this figure. It's just the ridiculously oversized flippers. I feel like those are just ridiculous and make no sense, so yeah, that's what I changed about this figure. Not too horrible, but also could be better. Now we move on to the strike attacks. First we have this thing, which again, I know that I know I've been pushing that it's probably Dracovinator, but seeing how a lot of these creatures are just redesigns, I wouldn't be surprised if it is a redesigned Dilophosaurus. And I have to give Mattel props for at least one thing. If they're going to do Dilophosaurus redesign, they got rid of that hideous freaking frill. But again, if it is Dracovinator, again, wouldn't be super surprised if it is, then yeah, I think I'd actually change it a little bit. Basically just fix the posture. Give it a longer neck, pretty much, and then also give it a longer tail, or heck, not even particularly longer. Just make the tail not stick straight up in the air. I don't know why they do that on figures a lot, like Mosasaurus and stuff. They make the tail stick unnaturally, just straight up, and I really don't know why. It's just really weird. So yeah, just fix that. And heck, I would prefer to make this a wild raw figure. I feel like that size range fits like a Dilophosaurus sized animal, which Dracovinator was about the same size as Dilophosaurus, so it still would make sense. But yeah, I honestly don't know why they didn't just kind of make it look better. I just think this posture works a little bit better. And yeah, heck, even if they still step in the strike attack, I feel like this posture will just help it out a lot. So yeah, next we have the Ceratopsian. My idea for changing it is just completely change what animal it is. Again, do a Leptoceratopsian. This is Zoomchang Ceratops. But honestly, I would also really love to see an Adundaceratops, or a Eudunaceratops, I think is how it's actually pronounced, or just a Leptoceratops itself, or just some sort of Leptoceratopsian. Could have been really cool to see. I know they make a lot of really small Ceratopsians, but instead of doing more basal and Leptoceratopsians, they end up doing just kind of smaller Ceratopsians and shrinking them. And I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like it could have been cool if they did something else. Again, here's like my design for Zoomchang Ceratops. I feel like that could be a cool creature to put in. Another really cool one is Spicamelus. Spicamelus, I think, is a creature that I really hope they do. And oh my gosh, why is Spicamelus not here? Spicamelus is literally the definition of exaggerated, except it's a real life animal. Literally, Spicamelus should have been in this toy line. If they really want to do exaggerated, stupid dinosaurs, just pick actual exaggerated looking dinosaurs. Spicamelus, especially with the newer discoveries, could have worked. It literally just covered head to tail with absolutely absurdly massive spikes, and that really could have worked as a figure, whether it be a wild drawer or even a strike attack figure. So yeah. Next we have Nanotyrannus. My idea: swap it out for Postosuchus. Hear me out. Literally, in every situation, this makes more sense to do Postosuchus. Nanotyrannus makes no sense. These figures are... Some people have already found these figures in the stores now. So the fact that we're getting that in Nanotyrannus, honestly, I'd say it's still somewhat releasing. I don't think everyone has even found this Nanotyrannus quite yet, because it's still kind of just hitting stores. It's like a pretty new release, and they're already re-releasing it. We're going to have, again, I think it's Aeroplays that mentioned this, literally, we're going to have this figure in stores at the same time that we get, but in stores at the same time as the old one, at the same exact time. And I just think it's ridiculous why. Why would they re-release Nanotyrannus? Again, Nanotyrannus itself, I guess, is a perfectly fine figure. I actually do have the Nanotyrannus, so yeah. But honestly, don't know why they re-released this one. And Postosuchus. Postosuchus is a beloved figure, but it's super rare. And it's already a strike attack figure. Just re-release it. It's also blue. So Postosuchus would just work out really nice. Honestly, like, I don't think there's a single person that would... Actually, I don't think there's a single person that really wants Nanotyrannus to be here. Though I know at least thousands of people would probably want to see Postosuchus get a re-release. They did it with Tapijar, why not Postosuchus? So, yeah. Next, we have the Gigantic Fascism. And oh boy, the one I hate is coming out soon. But before we get to that, Stegosaurus. Most people generally agree that this is a pretty solid figure, and the only thing that needs to be changed is the Thagomizer. So yeah, here, I just changed the Thagomizer, made it more normal, and this is actually still a pretty good figure. I mean, I probably, even the one that's coming out, I'm probably going to skip it just because I really don't need another Jurassic Stegosaurus, but I think that fixing this is pretty nice. If I were to change one more thing, I'd probably give it a less cartoony head. So, yeah, maybe I'll make a design for that at some point, but again, I think, at the very least, just fixing the Thagomizer would be good enough. So, yeah. Anyways, now we have the creature that, I hate this thing. Gorgosaurus. I hate this to the point in which I made, like, well, let me see. Like 5 different redesigns for this thing, so, yeah, let's just take a look. You can see this thing's freakish armor all over its back, and its tail being hideous. So, first off, here's just fixing its tail. I think that this makes the figure somewhat passable, but still kind of horrible at the same time. So, yeah, I did just change the tail, replace it with the Albertosaurus tail. Next, we have, again, this is still keeping the armor, but just extending it down the back a little bit more, so the color scheme at least flows a little bit better, adding some spikes onto the tail. Still don't really like this idea, but still think it's better than the original design. Next we have this one where basically the armor is reduced. I actually kind of like this one, though would prefer it without the armor. Though this is, again, another more reasonable, passable idea. Next we have probably like, actually after this we have my other two favorites, and I'll throw basically my definitive redesign. Next, here's it with absurd feathers. This looks just so much better. I honestly don't want it to just be completely feathered and unreasonably feathered. If they're going to do like a really feathered dinosaur, save that for Tyrannus and stuff. But if they're just going to be doing a, they just wanted to do exaggeration on this thing. Give it some feathers. I feel like this could have been cool, and it would stand out from some of the others. Again, don't have to make it completely covered. Just give it some feathers down its back. Give it like a really big, like kind of feather mohawk on the top of its head. Give it some good feathers going, like a good clump of feathers going down its back and tail. And I feel like this just looks better. And again, probably give it some patterns as well. That would probably also help. But still, even without it, still looks really nice. Now we move on to what, again, these are all my other ideas for different redesigns and how you could do it. Because I know some people wouldn't mind the armor, or even for some reason would want to keep it. I honestly don't know why, but again, I just wanted to kind of show a few other ways that could be done. Now we're going to move on to what I consider my definitive redesign. This is my definitive Gorgosaurus redesign. It still has feathers, it just has like a little tufts on the head and a little bit going down the back and a little tuft at the end of the tail. But for the most part, it's pretty bare. It just has pretty decent patterns. For the most part, the base of the Gorgosaurus is pretty solid, so just keep that the same. And yeah, again, this is just my redesign of Gorgosaurus. If it looked like this would be a really good figure. Definitely say a good 7 or 8 out of 10 figure. So yeah, heck, maybe honestly, depending on how it's executed, it could be anywhere from 7 to like a 9 or even 10 out of 10 figure. But unfortunately, Gorgosaurus, I'd say, is landing on more of like a 2 out of 10 figure, or even a 1 out of 10 figure. So yeah. Now we move on to my section, which is just figures that are basically perfect. Dimetrodon redesign. Again, I thought this was going to be Dinosaurus, but considering how everything else is getting a redesign, it's probably Dimetrodon. This thing is great. There's not a single thing I'd change about this figure. Like, seriously, not even the paint, nothing. I don't think there's a single thing that I would actually change about this figure. Love it. Great Dimetrodon figure. So, yeah, I think everyone agrees that this is just a good Dimetrodon figure. This is another one I might end up getting since, again, the Jurassic Dimetrodon is not the best, and I need a new Dimetrodon figure, so this is a pretty good one. Next, we have the, again, this one I think is Stegosaurus. This is a new Danger Pack figure. This is the one new literally out of the Dimetrodon, this is the only new species and the only new design that looks good. Also, again, I just want to talk about the Jurassic World Survival line. Of all the creatures, Dracovinator, I guess, could possibly be doing that through Ceratopsian, but the only one that we can say definitively is new is this and Gorgosaurus, and Gorgosaurus is a complete and utter freak, so yeah, it's a shame that this is the only good design, and it's a pretty basic animal. If anything, I would have preferred this one to be the one completely and utterly butchered. Honestly, I would prefer neither of them to be completely and utterly butchered in general, but if they had to pick one, I don't know about you guys, but I want Gorgosaurus, like, really badly, instead of this guy, but yeah. I might end up getting this guy just because it's, like, the only good one, so yeah. Moving on to a few other things, gotta mention. Again, wild worms, we don't actually have what they are revealed yet, but again, we don't have what images they are, like images of what they look like revealed yet, but we do know what they are going to be. It's going to be Ceratosaurus, Afrovinator, Pteranodon, and this other marine reptile, Plesiosaurus. I'm holding out hope for that Plesiosaurus especially. I really want that thing to be good since I love Plesiosaurs, and if this one's good, it'd be great. But yeah, again, given my thoughts, Ceratosaurus I think is going to either be Ceratosaurus, I feel, is going to feel like going to fall into two boats. It's either going to be like the Stegosaurus, where it's surprisingly really good, or it's going to be absolutely horrible, and I don't think there's much of an in-between. Afrovinator is a one that I have hopes. Again, we have that head that we thought was Concavinator for a while, but considering how there is no Concavinator listed, and like Concavinator can't be here, maybe it is the head of Afrovinator, and based off the head, it looks great. The Gorgosaurus' head also looks good, and that thing ended up being hideous. Maybe, just maybe, Afrovinator could be great. It could be one of the really good new species. And honestly, Afrovinator, I'm also holding out hope for, because I really love Afrovinator. Honestly, also, it's black and orange, which I just really like orange on Afrovinator, probably because of Dinosaur King, but still really cool. Pteranodon is another one where I feel like it's going to be absolutely hideous, or like, again, kind of bad. Kind of like Dimetrodon. I think it's not horrible, I guess, but like just not the best. Or it's going to be one that's like, for some reason, ridiculously really good. So yeah, or actually my third option is just it being a re-release of the old Pteranodon, just for a different paint scheme, which I don't know why. I have another feeling they could easily do that for literally no reason, despite it making sense to redesign, if any creature, this one. So yeah, and then that marine reptile, again, it's wishful thinking, but I really hope and kind of think that one might actually be good, though who knows, it's only time until it gets revealed. Finally, we have this thing, which we don't actually have the actual design for, we only have the head, so this rest of this is just a concept. So yeah, again, just want to mention the whole body, neck, and everything concept. The only thing that's real is the head. We still don't know what this thing is, and we only had the head revealed. And again, it has to either be a Wild Roar figure or a Wave 2 figure. If it's a Wave 2 figure, then who knows what it could be. My guess, Plesiosaurus or something like it. But if it's this Wave figure, you already heard the figures that we don't have revealed yet. Ceratosaurus, Afrovinator, Pteranodon, and a marine reptile. They either completely, like, beyond belief, worse than Gorgosaurus or anything else, butchered up Ceratosaurus' design and removed its crest. They somehow made the most inaccurate Pteranodon ever to exist. or the Afrovinator's head. Again, that's not actually an Afrovinator figure, that maybe that Concavinator is something else, and this is like the worst Afrovinator known to man, or they just completely and utterly butchered up a marine reptile. Like, I know Mattel is really messing up these figures and these dinosaur designs, but they're not even I would think they would do something this bad. So I really don't think it's any of these wild rides. I do believe that it's either a scrapped Dimetrodon design, or it's a figure that's going to be coming up in Wave 2 or something, or just a scrapped figure in general. I literally don't think there's any way it could be any of these guys, though. I would be scared if it actually ends up being any of them. So yeah, Jurassic World Survival. I do truly still consider this the worst toy line Mattel has put out so far. Like, seriously. In fact, every other toy line I would say have at least some really good figures. Even the less good ones. Heck, I wouldn't even consider any of the toy lines Mattel put out horrible or even really bad. Maybe some waves I would consider kind of patchy and not that good. But like entire toy lines themselves, I would not consider any of them bad. And this is literally the first toy line from Mattel in which I may not actually get any of the figures from it. So yeah, unfortunate. What's your guys' thoughts on this? What do you think of my redesigns? How would you change figures? Change these figures in any ways? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.